Aloha, friends and family. Today I want to talk to you about a cyclical no-dig garden. It really is the easiest way to garden. Let me show you what I'm doing. So basically, with the cyclical no-dig garden approach, you just have your garden going year-round. All of this stuff has been here through the winter. And you can't just do this with any plant. If you're gonna try to garden through winter, you have to be in a place that doesn't get too extremely cold, and you have to grow things primarily in the brassica family that like the cold. So kales, cabbage, kohlrabi, spinach, Brussels sprouts, things like that. So I'm getting ready to harvest most of these greens in this bed and the other bed. But the other thing about a no-dig, cyclical no-dig garden is you don't ever just clear everything off and disturb all the soil and dig everything up. Now, if you have soil that's compacting, you may need to do that. But if you're gardening primarily in compost, you're not going to get really compaction. So you don't have to worry about that. And so you have to be comfortable with letting the garden be sort of jungle-like. These kale have all been here since last year, since last spring. And the only reason they're going to go away now is because they're all starting to bolt, which means make seed pods. So I can collect some seeds from these. I've got a couple I'm going to keep around. But other than that, they all need to be harvested, and you can chop these up and freeze them in freezer bags. You could slightly, stick them in boiling water and let them shrink down a little bit, and then drain them and then freeze them like that. But the other thing with the no dig, the cyclical no dig, is you got to let it. Sometimes it naturalizes. So here you can see I have some weeds. This is a cabbage, and it's also going to seed. So I still need to get to some of these weeds, but you have to be more comfortable with letting everything kind of be a little more natural. These are the kale I'm gonna get seeds from. Brussels sprouts, same thing. They're in the brassica family. They're going to seed. And then this bed over here has a lot of turnip greens, spinach. I just got all the kohlrabis from right there recently. There's a Brussels sprout back there. So all these need to go. The spinach I'm not going to harvest yet. I may harvest some of the leaves or whatever, but I'm not going to take out the plants yet. If they start bolting and going to seed, then I'll harvest them. But until then, I'm just going to keep, you just take leaves off the outside edges whenever you want to get a grip of some greenery. Kind of like this. With this kale. You just take off these leaves and the thing continues to grow, and we'll just keep giving you over and over and over. Got cilantro in this bucket, and all this cilantro came back from seed. Let's taste it. And it has just naturalized in this bucket. So what am I going to do as a gardener? I'm not going to sit there and fight with it and worry about trying to get it growing good somewhere else. It's growing great right here. And it reseeded itself and came back. So, tastes fresh, I'll tell you that. I'm just going to let that grow. More greens. that are going to be harvested soon. We got a mix of kohlrabis and turnip greens in here. I've got my first two tomatoes for the year. I've got a saucing tomato, sunrise sauce, and I've got a standard sandwich tomato right there. I went ahead and got ahead of the game in my little greenhouse here. And I've got squash coming up, Chinese red noodle beans coming up, okra coming up. I've got some castor beans that I'm gonna plant along the edge of the driveway this year. Got some bok choy coming up. Not really the greatest time to try to grow bok choy. That's more of a brassica type plant. It likes cold. But if you seed it now and grow a full plant and harvest it, you'll do fine, doing it right now. And I've got a couple pepper plants, a couple different kinds of peppers, and some squash. Those aren't coming up quite yet. Also have a couple of plumerias that my dad gave me while I was in Texas. Shout out to my fellow Texans. And plumerias are sort of a tropical Hawaiian type plant, sort of a small tree-ish, and the flowers are used to make leis. So that one does not like cold at all. So if you grow that anywhere where it gets cold, you got to take it in during the winter. Japanese maple, one of the most beautiful maples you'll ever see. Very decorative and ornamental, which makes me think of art. And I want to share my idea, and I'd like to just ask if anybody out there knows about this or is into this. But I've got the bright idea to build a virtual art gallery in the virtual world that's called Decentraland, and the cryptocurrency that's used in that world is called mana. And from what I've gathered, you buy a piece of land. I'm pretty sure you can rent too, possibly, if you could find somebody. I mean, it's just like the real world in that sense. Whoever has property can sell it, rent it, lease it, whatever. So I need to find a piece of land and either build a building or buy a piece of land that has a building, turn it into an art gallery, and then I can put, well, I'm hoping, I don't know exactly how all this works yet. I need to get me a good new laptop computer because I don't even have a computer. I don't use computers, but I'm gonna have to use one to do this. Anywho, so I want to make my gallery, obviously for art. And so when you come in, when your avatar comes into my gallery, it's going to be called the Positive Polarity Gallery, spelled Poehlarity, because my last name is Paul. But anyway, so as you're looking around at the artwork, and I'm not exactly, I would guess that there'll be some sort of a digital version of it that you'll see, that your avatar will see on the wall, and then you click on it, and that will take you to see the actual real world image of the painting. And then I can sell, that's just a way of connecting a buyer and a seller. But what's cool is essentially you could buy it from right there inside the gallery. And in addition to that, I can sell NTFs of the digital versions. Now, as far as what that means, like if the digital version really looks cool or if it looks cheesy as hell, that really doesn't interest me personally. But a lot of people are into that. A lot of people are into buying digital art. I don't really get that so much unless it's just really cool. But people are into it, so whatever. So that could be offered too. But anyway, if you don't know about Decentraland, find out about it. It's really a cool idea as far as, for artists or creative people, because it's a platform that's an open world platform where you can literally create anything that you want. Now, granted, you have to, just like in the real world, you have to buy, land or rent it. You have to get a space. You can you have to pay for advertising if you want to advertise. It just depends on what you want to do. But in the main squares, if you will, of Decentraland, they're going to be having live concerts, live shows. Atari is building a casino version where they're going to have, I think, an arcade. Well, I know they're going to have an arcade of all the old Atari games, but I think what they're going to do is offer sort of an upgraded version of the Atari games to be created by Decentraland members, if you will, or people that are part of the community. And then in addition to that, it's going to be a casino, so you could play blackjack. And I don't know, I'm conflicted about whether it's open or not right now, because I heard somebody talking about getting wrecked playing blackjack in there. But then I've heard that it's not open yet. It's not fully finished. I think next month is when it officially comes online, but I don't know which one of those are true. Either way, it's coming. It'll have slots, everything that you would find in a casino will be there. But it's the first virtual real casino, if you will, that's ever been created in Decentraland. So yeah, if you're an artist, you might think about it. I'll probably get, hopefully, I guess it depends on how much square footage we have, right? But I'd like to get other artists involved so that when you come into the gallery, it's not just my art in there, but there could be some other artists that I think are cool too. And really, I'd like them to be traditional painters, but I'm open to whatever. Our artists are artists and they can do what they want. But I mean, that's what I'm trying to gear my gallery toward, is connecting potential buyers from all over the world, because people from all over the world go into Decentraland. And you just, you're in your avatar. You walk around just like it's a city. You go into stores. If you go into a store, you see something you like and you want to buy, you can literally buy it right there, pay for it with mana, which is the cryptocurrency of Decentraland, and have it shipped to your real world house. You could also get food like that. You could go into a McDonald's and order a number 2 in Decentraland, pay for it, and then it'll come to your house in the real world. But you already paid for it. It's wild. It's a wild concept, but it sounds pretty cool. And it would be more feasible for artists, if they kind of banded together. And I've got huge ideas for my gallery. I'm planning on making it really cool, because it's a virtual world, so I want to make the experience really cool. So when you come in the door, I want there to be cool music playing, and I want the scenery in the gallery to be really cool. And of course, the walls will be covered in artwork. And I've got some other really killer ideas. I don't want to share all my ideas right now because somebody might just grab it and run with it. But I've got some real cool ideas. And they're going to take money, because all of this stuff takes real world money to create. But I'm just fascinated by the whole thing, the whole idea, and it's really got my creativity going because, you know, I've kind of been slacked for painting for a while because I need to figure out beyond just creating cool paintings, like what's next. And that what next for me has never materialized as far as, you know, deciding on a gallery someplace to try to get into, or just get, you know, doing shows all over and traveling and setting up tents and doing shows. And I've done a little bit of all of that stuff, entering contests online, different things like this. And but that just doesn't, I don't know, it just doesn't seem like the path for me, the way I'm gonna do it. And I just haven't known what that really is. But now I do. Now I do. I think this is the way I'm gonna go about it and do it. And it seems like the right path for me personally. So, and that's cool because that right there is inspiration for me. And I've kind of tentatively made my mind up that I'm going to get back to painting this spring. So I'm going to start in again. And I've got so many ideas revolving around this whole thing. But I'm pretty sure some of my upcoming art is going to be, you know, crypto related in some way. And I'm still kicking around ideas of what that could mean as far as a painting goes, but I've got some cool ideas popping around, and eventually it'll all hit me and I'll be like, yep, that's it. And then I'm going to get back to painting, which is kind of exciting because I really, I mean, when I get into something, I really get into it. I don't just dip a finger in. So I've been out of it for a little while, and I remember how it was when I was in it. And, you know, it's like with anything that you're passionate about. When you're in it and you're doing it, you just feel good. You feel, you know, you wake up in the morning, maybe, you know, you wake up too early, but you're just like, the heck with it. I'm getting up, I'm awake, and I'm ready, and I want to just dive into it. So that's kind of the way life rolls when you're in your passion and doing your passion and, you know, active with it. But anyway, so that's what I'm doing with gardening and art. That's really, you know, two of my big passions in life is gardening and art. And let me know if you are an artist and you're interested in that. And just let me know if you've heard of that, if you have heard of it, and what you think about it, what you think about the whole idea. And I will catch you all in the next one. Love and light. Until then, my friends and family.